Hi, my name is Anindita Bhattacharya. I live in California in United States. My hobby is to create audiobooks in my mother tongue, which is Bengali, an Indian language, and then publish those audiobooks through internet at bengalioaudiobook.com. I started this website in late 2011 and I was maintaining it in my free time. After that, I received a few emails complimenting the service and a few requests for publishing some particular audiobooks. One day, in May 2012, I received an email from a person named Mr. Omiyo Bishas from West Bengal, India. And that email changed my whole perspective of creating audiobooks. Mr. Bishas wrote that he is blind and he works in an organization named Blind Persons Association that runs several blind schools in West Bengal, India. He mentioned that he and the sightless students of those schools regularly listen my audiobooks. These students get their study materials in Braille. However, there are hardly any Bengali novel or storybook in Braille. But as I narrate those novels or stories, they can simply listen to it and they like it very much. It really touched me. I was creating audiobooks as my hobby for those people who do not have time to read. I never thought of making audiobooks for sightless people. It just never crossed my mind. After knowing this, I started asking more questions to Mr. Bishas about the schools for the blind. I learned that they are in rural villages of West Bengal, India. Majority of the students come from very poor families. Schools provide education, study materials in Braille, and arrange for living in dormitories. The facilities make special arrangement for its students, keeping in mind the requirements of the blind kids. They teach students some extracurricular activities and also they encourage the students to participate in dramas like Rabindranath Tagore's Dark Core. The schools get a nominal funding from government sources, which are not at all sufficient for running the school with teachers, staff, and boarding facilities. So they depend mostly on donations. I immediately thought of choosing one of the schools and collecting funds for those unfortunate kids. I am also associated as a volunteer with California-based non-profit public benefit corporation named Educate Now. Educate Now was formed to foster self-reliant and thriving communities amongst low-income and underprivileged in developing and underdeveloped nations, especially India. Educate Now is successfully running several projects, including talented student sponsorship for students from financially downtrodden families and who are at risk of dropping out. Solar Light Project that aims at providing solar-powered lights to parts of the world where electricity has not reached. Holiday Toy Drive for the less fortunate kids residing in several California shelters, and so many other projects. So when I explained to the Educate Now board members about this potential project for blind school, they immediately agreed to help support these sightless kids. Mr. Bishas from Blind Persons Association and I were regularly exchanging emails. I found out that each student requires $150 for his or her expense in the school for one complete year. Educate Now decided to support 10 students for one school year. We chose 10 sightless kids in 2013 who came from very poor, low-income families. The students we chose to support were Obhijit Sarkar, Chayna Sardar, Taposh Mondol, Lipika Mondol, Tumpa Ghosh, Bappa Sardar, Banti Mondol, Gaur Haldar, Ganesh Mondol, and Musabbar Mondol. They were students of Krishnanagar Helen Keller Sriti Vidya Mandir in Krishnanagar, West Bengal, and Shaktinagar High School in Krishnanagar, West Bengal, in India. The average family income of these students were $330, an amount that can barely sustain a family of 4 or 5 but cannot afford the special needs of the blind child. With a little monetary help, at least the blind kid in the family will be able to get some education and lead a respectful life. For a blind kid, education is like the light of knowledge that can drastically change his or her life. Without education, these kids would have no means to lead a good life and might end up begging in the streets. Now that project was set, it was time to figure out how to raise the money. After a little research, we initiated a campaign at Indiegogo. Within 25 days, we raised $1,535, which was even more than what we needed to support those 10 students. 23 wonderful people donated this money. I was overwhelmed by the generosity of the people out there. I received donations from people I know and also from others I have never met or known. On behalf of Educate Now, I would like to thank all those donors for last year's project. With your help, these kids completed their school year successfully. 2 of them graduated from middle school and is now in high school. Mr. Bishash and the kids have become my friends now. I always get updates of how they are doing. They also sent me their transcripts from last year. Looking at the impact of last year's project, Educate Now would like to continue the support for these kids in 2014 also. We are fundraising this year for supporting 10 sightless middle school students, among whom 8 are retained from the last year. 2 students, Shushmita Khatun and Nurjahan Khatun, are now replacing the students who graduated from middle school last year. We need your help to support these 10 blind kids for this school year. We cannot raise money for these kids without your help. Please help us generously and support the 10 sightless kids achieve their dream. Helen Keller once said, "I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can do." Please donate any amount you can and help a sightless student to lead a respectful life through the light of knowledge. The link to donate money is given below. Please donate. Thank you.